Almost typed that in wrong. So, wait, why is it adding twice? That's why. That's weird. It's never done that before. Weird. It's okay. Fix that in a minute, I guess. That. Hello. That's a crazy raid name. Hi, Zip Zoop. It's going good. Thank you, Jay, for the jewels. All right, guys. Twitch and YouTube. We'll get started in a minute, guys. On TikTok, start doing your thing, please. Let's get those likes working. And yes, I see you guys in the requests. Hi, Cass. I'll get to you in a minute. I'm starting my day the way I always start my day, with a jam. Good morning, good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. I appreciate you guys being here on this Friday. It's Friday, guys. It's Friday. How's everybody doing? Tired. I'm ready for the weekend. I am ready for the weekend. Guys, if you are over here on TikTok, Swarovski, stop. If you are on TikTok, if we could start tapping that screen, please. We like to get to about 50,000 likes within the first hour. I've seen you guys do way better than that, so let's start tapping. I promise you, your partners will thank you for what those fingers can do for them. So tap the screen, share the live out. You can repost it. You can add it to your story. You can share it to 5 of your friends. That really does help. Do your daily heart me if you have not done so. The little golden heart that is up next to my profile picture, if you don't see that, that means you're not following me. And why aren't you following me? You need to be following me. And then it will turn into a little golden heart. You can do your daily heart me. It also allows you to have access to sticker comments that I have created for you, a lot of ones of my face. I also have the little ice cream cone goal thing. You guys knocked out the roses. Thank you so much. So we'll just keep doing that. It helps push us onto the algorithm, as you well know, on TikTok. If you're watching on YouTube, guys, I appreciate you watching. If you could hit that thumbs up button for me, that does help push us onto the algorithm on YouTube, so that if people want to have conversations, maybe they're braver than you or your friends, they can come up and do so. Again, I have conversations based off of factually based information and not your feelings. Hi over there on Twitch. I see you, Dragons Celt. Welcome in, everybody. I have my 100 goal that I have every single day. Guys, this is my job. This is what I do for a living. I see you guys, by the way. I will update that in just a minute. This is what I do for a living. It's Friday. Means people got paid. Support your content creator. Tip your content creator. We work very hard to get these outlines together, to get this information out to you. Which, speaking of, can I get W's to Sherry, W's to Sherry for the 5, for just to get you started. Happy Friday. Thank you so much. And then also, W's to Chicky for the 15 with just crabs. Thank you, Chicky, for giving me crabs through Venmo. I appreciate that so much. So guys, we're actually starting our day down here at 80. So thank you guys so much for getting us started on this Friday. 80 left in my goal. I have Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all in the link tree in my bio, so that we can get our day started. Let me update this goal, and then we will get to, unfortunately, the person that's in the box. I doubt that's going to last very long, so keep doing the things, guys. Unless he left, because they have no patience. Okay. Cool. Let's get started today then, shall we? We shall. We'll do some breaking news and polling before we get into some other stuff. I'll see what we get to. I have way too much on my outline today, so we will see. It was Kingy. I think he left because he wasn't loading. So, all right. There was a lot going on in the Senate now that they've been back today. Or yesterday, excuse me. Now that they're back, they have a lot of shit they have to get through. So the Senate was going through stuff yesterday, and what they did was that they okayed a $70 billion immigration bill after rejecting efforts to permanently ban Trump's settlement fund. So the Senate passed legislation to fund President Donald Trump's immigration enforcement agencies early on Friday after weeks of delay and fierce backlash to an unrelated $1.776 billion settlement fund that threatened to derail the bill. Senators voted 52 to 47 to pass the $70 billion legislation to fund immigration and customs enforcement and border patrol for the next 3 years, though through the end of Trump's term, after Democrats blocked the money for months. Now, I don't like that phrasing, because if you looked into what was actually going on, what we saw was that the Democrats said, we will fund DHS, as in we will fund TSA, we will fund the Coast Guard, CISA, we will fund all of those things. However, we are not going to help you fund ICE and CBP until you have a conversation with us about restrictions in regards to what they've done. Because we've seen where CBP and ICE, cumulatively, we know of the 2 big ones that they killed, Renee Good and Alex Preddy, but there were also situations where a woman was killed during a car chase because of ICE, a man who was shot by an off-duty officer for shooting his gun in the air. They need restrictions. They absolutely cannot be just out in the streets acting like Nazis, acting like the Gestapo and doing what they're doing. So Democrats blocked it for a significant reason, so I didn't like that phrasing. But what they did is then the Democrats and the Republicans bipartisanly passed money for Coast Guard, TSA, and CISA. And then the Republicans decided that they were going to, through a reconciliation bill that only needs a simple majority, not the 60 votes, pass this. The issue here is, let me see if I can get see if they reference it, was people like Bill Cassidy, Senator Bill Cassidy, who's a Republican, Senator Thom Tillis, who's a Republican. Again, these people are no longer going to be in office after their term. After they're done, they are done. And yet, for some reason, voted this in without a stopgap to the slush fund, even though Tillis specifically said, I will not vote for any money for immigration without this amendment in there. And yet it seems that he lied about that. Shocker? No. Not shocked. So Tillis said the fund is a political liability for the party. If Blanche says this is largely inoperative, why not use this moment to codify that? Otherwise, you're exposing every one of our members who are in a cycle to having to deal with this between today and Election Day, and that makes no sense for something that the DOJ says they're not moving forward with. Cassidy's amendment, he was the one who proposed it, to compensate the injured police officers was a pointed rebuke, as payouts from Trump's fund could have potentially gone to Trump supporters who beat police and attacked the Capitol on Jan 6. Cassidy lost re-election last month after Trump endorsed a primary opponent. We saw that. He said, despite Blanche's comments, the fund is still part of an active settlement and absolutely can be used, because Blanche has said we're not moving forward with it. But it's not written anywhere that they're not moving forward with it. They absolutely still could. That's going into what I just talked about in way of the delay of that money and why. But again, it just shows that Republicans, even the ones who speak out against Trump, actually have no backbone and no scruples, because Tillis said he would not vote for this if it did not have a stopgap on the slush fund, and he lied because he still went and voted for it. So there's that. All right, now moving forward, we are going to talk about some polling. I have one poll for you. I guess it's not really for my leftist friends. It's more for you, conservatives and MAGA. So please pay attention. We have our good, good boy Red Bull Golden Retriever, Harry Enton here, to talk about a poll in regards to rural voters and how Trump's approval rating, which is in the shitter, is going with rural voters. Now, before we get into this, because it's the same thing that happens every single time, which is that, oh no, CNN, we're not going to believe the poll. Harry Enton does this great thing where he puts right here at the bottom the source of where this poll came from. So just listen, if you would, because he's going to give you that source.
Chief data analyst Harry Enton. Iowa, one of the things we know about Iowa, farm country,
yes,
pretty rural.
Field of dreams.
How do rural voters feel about the president?
Yeah, you know, Iowa has been traditionally a field of dreams for the president of the United States, but it's quickly turning into potentially a field of nightmares. There seems to be a rural revolt going on in this country against Donald Trump. Take a look here. Rural.
Because somebody already, hey, Jeff, don't make me be mad at you. I could be nice to you today. You said Democratic News Network. What's the source, Jeff? Who's that? Is that the Democratic News Network? What source is this for this poll? Oh, it's Fox News. Okay.
Voters on Trump. Look, according to Fox News, he was easily winning them back in October of 2024 versus Kamala Harris. 18 points ahead. The exit poll even had it a bigger margin. But look at where he is now. Woo! Down there, underwater, underneath the cornfields. He's now 14 points underwater. That's an over 30-point switcheroo against the President of the United States. As I said, there appears to be a rural vote going against Donald Trump.
What could one of those reasons be?
You know, one of the big reasons that there seems to be a rural vote against Donald Trump, simply put, it's the economy, it's inflation. Take a look at this. You thought that switcheroo was big. How about...
Now this one is citing ABC and Washington Post, which again, I know you don't like because it's leftist and it's Democrat. It's not, but who owns WAPO? Does anybody know who owns WAPO by chance? Anybody? Just a general knowledge question. Does anybody know who owns WAPO? Who owns the Washington Post? Z-Spark got it. CEO, entrepreneur, born in 1964, Jeffrey
Amazon owns
Bezos. Yep, Jeffrey Bezos owns
I didn't know
WAPO.
Amazon owned it.
That's why he had a huge loss of employees, because Jeffrey Bezos owns Washington Post now. So, again, just remember where your sources are coming from, just say.
This one, rural voters on Trump and inflation versus Kamala Harris. He was more trusted by 37 points. Now he is 19 points underwater with rural voters on inflation. That is an over 50-point switcheroo against the president of the United States. Rural voters, like the rest of the country, turning against Trump on the key issue that got him elected to a second term back in 2024.
Now, I don't have the ABC and WAPO poll, but we have seen that multiple polls on economy and inflation that he's not doing well. But I did want to pull up, because you guys like to say this, that, yeah, he cited Fox. Well, here is the one that he cited. This is the Fox News poll that he cited. It was, oh my God, why are you talking? May 20th of 2026. It's because Fox News is a terrible fucking website. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to Control F, and we're going to look up rural so that it brings us to that. Okay, perfect. Since April, approval has declined among some of his key constituencies, such as rural whites, -6 points, white men without a degree, -5, and Republicans, -3. Trump approval is at all-time lows among Republicans, 80%, non-MAGA Republicans, 54%, white people, 43%, and rural voters, 43%. So this is what Harry Enten was citing, specifically rural voters, 43%. The swing he is talking about is where he was plus in October of 2024 before the election to where he is now is a -14 points. So that I just want to show you. You can find the sources for the things they are saying, because you guys don't tend to do that. You see CNN, you see Harry Enten, and your guys' brain turns off. And I really need you to turn your brains back on, or find it if you ever had one, or wish to the Great Wizard of Oz to get one, even though he's also a con man. You already did that. You sold your soul to the Wizard of Oz. His name is Donald Trump. Okay. So, let's see if we can get to this. We are going to, I'm actually going to go past that. Going to go to some fraud, waste, and abuse here and get to this. So this will kind of sweep us into economy a little bit. Ballroom donors won $50 billion in contracts after giving to Trump Project, a watchdog group finds. Now, I would like to see more information. I would like to get more information. But we're going to read this right now as the reporting that we have. More than half of the publicly identified donors to President Donald Trump's White House Ballroom Project have won new or expanded federal contracts worth more than $50 billion during the past 6 months, according to a report released Thursday by a government watchdog group. Now, the issue is that this is something we talked about. We talked about this. You guys kept yelling at us, the ballroom's privately funded, which, by the way, I have, it's not like it's part of my outline, but I do have it here today as well. Appeals court to hear arguments over whether Trump's ballroom plans can continue. The panel of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit will weigh the Trump administration's request to throw out a lower court's judge's order, halting the construction of a lawsuit brought by the historic preservationists. So that's going on as well while all this is going on. But the issue that we had, you guys were like, it's privately funded. It's privately funded. Okay, well, the issue with that is not the fact that it's privately funded. The issue is there bribery or is there quid pro quo happening on the back end? And that's what we have been worried about, and that's what we have been telling you. And it, according to this watchdog group, it seems like it is absolutely a possibility that is happening. So this is not out of the kindness of their hearts to donate to his vanity projects. This is about them getting something in return. 14, and again, also the issue wasn't the fact that it was privately donated, it was the fact that tearing it down and rebuilding it, he has to go through a congressional process to do so, and he didn't. 14, I don't know why they did 14 as the word and then 27 as the number, that's irritating. 14 of the 27 known corporate donors to the $400 million project, which would replace the East Wing that Trump demolished in October, have seen their government business grow in that window, according to the report by Public Citizen, a nonprofit. Most of those same companies are also facing federal enforcement actions over alleged wrongdoing or have had such actions suspended by the Trump administration since the start of Trump's second term, the nonprofit found. The donors have sprawling interests that touch nearly every aspect of American life, including defense contracting, technology, and energy. Trump has repeatedly touted the gifts as a boon to taxpayers, but critics of the project say the administration's refusal to release a full list of donors creates the potential for corruption. Again, most transparent presidency in history. Where is the transparency? Where is the full list of donors of people who privately donated? These giant corporations aren't funding the Trump ballroom fiasco out of the goodness of their hearts, said John Gollinger, a public policy advocate at Public Citizen and an author of the report. They have massive interests before the federal government, and they hope to curry favor with and receive favorable treatment from the Trump administration. The analysis builds on a report from the group last fall that found that known donors held $279 billion in government contracts over the previous 5 years and had spent $1.6 billion on political contributions and lobbying during that time. The new report focuses on contracts awarded in most of the 7 months since the East Wing's demolition, which Trump's critics have argued created new urgency around potential conflicts of interest. Of the known donors, no single contributor received more new business with the government since giving the project than Lockheed Martin. The defense giant received roughly $43.8 billion in new or expanded contract funding since last fall, according to the report. Booz Allen Hamilton followed with more than $4.2 billion, and Palantir with just over $1 billion. Now remember, some of these companies, Palantir being one of them that I recognize, if you don't recognize, was part of the disclosure form that Donald Trump signed himself for his private company that supposedly is in the hands of his sons, but he signed the disclosure form that his business invested in Palantir stock. Donald Trump then posted, including Palantir's stock ticker, a truth about Palantir and praising them. Their valuation goes up. He makes money privately in his business. Other donors that received new or increased contracts include Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Caterpillar, and T-Mobile. Amazon executive chairman Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. Oh, look. Oh, love that. Love that for me. Altogether, more than 2/3 of corporate ballroom. You know what? I give them that because, again, this is the Washington Post. So I give them the benefit of the fact that they also admitted that Amazon made money off of this and that also they are owned by Amazon. Altogether, more than 2/3 of corporate ballroom donors, 19 of 27, have received government contracts over the past 5.5 years, totaling $338 billion, the report says. Yes, Palantir is owned by Peter Thiel. He is one of the PayPal mafia bros. If you don't know who they are, you should look them up. Elon Musk is also included in that. 16 of the 27 donors are facing federal enforcement actions or have had such actions suspended by the Trump administration, the report found, including major antitrust reviews involving Amazon, Apple, Meta, and NVIDIA, labor rights cases involving Google, Lockheed, and Meta, and security matters involving Coinbase and Ripple, whose cases have been dropped or scaled back under Trump. The White House on Thursday pushed back on the report's pay-to-play framing. Quote, the same critics who are alleging fake conflicts of interest would also complain if American taxpayers were footing the bill for these long overdue renovations. So here's the thing. No, because the issue, again, was not where the funding was coming from. The issue was that he did not go through the congressional process he was supposed to for the demolition and for the rebuild. You are supposed to give them the plans for that demolition to be approved. You are supposed to give them the plans for the rebuild to be approved. You need to be doing that. That was the issue, not necessarily where the funding came from. The donors for the White House Ballroom Project represent a wide array of great American companies and generous individuals, all of whom are contributing to make the People's House better for generations to come. Or are they? Or are they getting donations? The White House has closely guarded some details of the project, publicly disclosing only 21 corporate donors. News outlets subsequently identified 6 more. Public citizens sued under the Freedom of Information Act, also known as FOIA, to obtain the secret fundraising contract that permits officials to conceal donors' identities, unearthing the terms set between the White House, National Park Service, and the Trust for the National Mall, the nonprofit handling ballroom donations. Thursday's report arrives as the Ballroom Project continues to face legal and political turbulence. A federal judge has ruled that construction must halt until Congress authorizes the project, but a 3-judge federal appeals panel allowed construction to continue while the case proceeds. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit is scheduled to hear the case today. So again, and obviously more into the $1 billion that they want to take from taxpayers, the issue is that there needs to be an investigation on possible corruption and quid pro quo and bribery, and yet for some reason, you guys don't seem to give a fuck about that. And I think that you should, but you don't. I don't know why. Paid judges. Okay, so then, from there, I'm going to play this clip from AOC for you because that's going to lead us into our economy section as we sit here and constantly have to deal with and talk about vanity projects for Donald Trump. He just yesterday spoke about the idea of adding a promenade to the Lincoln Memorial that some people want to name the Trump Promenade. This man is doing everything in his power to create a legacy for himself, as John Ossoff said, because nobody else is going to do it for him. He does not give a fuck about the American people. He has made that very clear by saying, and I quote, "I do not think about the Americans' financial situation at all. I don't think about it." And yet all he cares about doing is creating monuments to himself. And for some reason, you guys are okay with that, even though the economy is struggling.
Ma'am, what do you think your constituents think about these vanity projects Trump's undertaking in D.C., from the Kennedy Center to the arches and ponds?
Yeah, I think people think that this is, that the reflecting pool and the ballroom and all of these things are almost like a joke. But the reality is that for my constituents who are being kicked off of food assistance, in New York State, our essential plan that covers people at the bottom rung of income availability to get health care, the entire essential plan in the state of New York is being eliminated. Healthcare plans across the country are being eliminated or completely changed in order to accommodate.
Focus, focus on what AOC is actually talking about, which is that they are hurting people, actual Americans who are sitting in the middle class, if that even exists anymore, in the lower class, and he's doing things to benefit him. Focus on that, and not on the fact that we will get to Epstein today. If I have to stay late, I will stay late to get it done, but we can talk about that. And you saying I vote like Epstein does. Why? Because he was a registered Democrat? Then I actually don't, because I'm not a registered Democrat. But do you know who else was a registered Democrat at the same time that Epstein was a registered Democrat and was his best motherfucking friend? Donald Trump. So focus up.
$1 trillion cut in our healthcare system. So when people see a ballroom and they see at the same time.
Sid Life, can you prove to me that AOC has taken AIPAC money? I'm legitimately asking. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. Can you show me?
Their health insurance getting cut off, they know that they are paying for that ballroom with no health care, higher grocery prices, and increasingly impossible to afford housing. And so I think people are pissed off about it, and they should be. It's wrong. This is a complete theft of our money. This is what I want people to understand. This is our money. When you pay your taxes, that money that you are paying is being stolen to pay for a vanity project in a ballroom or to renovate the Kennedy Center or whatever it is that this.
Jeff, show me where Kathy Hochul made Medicaid cuts. Can you show me a bill or something that Kathy Hochul signed to make Medicaid cuts? I don't know why you factory reset every day. You need to figure that out.
Guy wants to do instead of actually what it should be, which is paying your taxes so that you actually get something good back for it. Better roads, health care, more affordable growth.
So what I will say is that Sid Life said Pelosi connection when I asked them that question, and not officially. Okay, I appreciate you being honest about that. So then please don't repeat it unless you have proof of it. Would be what I would request of you. Don't repeat it if you don't have proof of it, if it's not official. So she cut my Medicaid. How did she do that, Jeff? Again, all you have are these anecdotal stories about what you think the Republicans give for you financially without proof. And we have shown you ad nauseum in Audie's Discord before you got kicked out for the 5th or 6th time, or left for the 5th or 6th time because you can't handle the actual facts that we present to you, that the Republicans have not helped you fiscally at all. You are correlating incorrectly and conflating incorrectly a boom in an economy to a Republican policy and not realizing what delay and lagging indicators are. And we've expressed this to you so many fucking times, I don't even know what to tell you. Guys, as we hit 10:30, you guys are doing fucking fantastic on the likes over here on TikTok. Thank you. We are at about 78,000 likes now. Those fingers are rocking. I told you they're going to be so good for your partners. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Keep doing all of those good things. As we are sitting here, I think I have the little overreact 5-coin gift. If we could get that knocked out, as Lakin rightly pointed out, my gift gallery is not finished. I know that we are down to like the last expensive gifts. I know that, but if you have an extra chunk of coins you could want to use to get those accomplished, please, I would appreciate it. It does help. I forgot to turn the bleeps off. I was going to turn the bleeps off. I forgot. Oh well. If you are over there on YouTube, even if you are hate watching, hit that thumbs up button for me. Maybe somebody braver than you will scroll in and actually call the number and have a conversation based off of factually based evidence and not your feelings. I would appreciate it. Over there on Twitch, I see you lovelies in your little heaven space. So thank you so much. Don't forget that if you are on YouTube and I miss your chat, it goes pretty fast sometimes. You can send a super chat. It is a lot easier for me to be able to see it. Guys, I also have 8-0 left in my goal with about an hour and a half left of the show, depending on if we go over. I can give you crabs, Peter. Look, Peter's gonna do it. Thanks for giving me crabs, Peter. I appreciate it. 8-0 left in my goal. I have Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all in the link trees in my bio. Guys, let's start doing a $1 train or $2 train to start getting that number down, okay? It's Friday. Let's make sure that I get paid, as this is my job. I would appreciate it. Let's get to work on that. Okay. Going into the economy. I guess let's start here. Let's start with the jobs report. So, oh, you're going to be a bitch, aren't you? Hold on. I got to paywall remove it. See, I told you, my issue I have is with Reuters a lot of the times. And if not, I just won't play that one. We'll just look at the jobs report and go into some of the videos I have in the response to the jobs report. Because I don't know. We have to be charged for information now, and it's very, very, very frustrating. Okay. U.S. posts another month of strong job gains in May. Unemployment rate steady at 4.3%. The U.S. economy posted another month of strong employment gains in May, confirming that the labor market was gaining traction after stumbling last year, because last year was terrible for him, and potentially giving the Federal Reserve more room to keep interest rates unchanged amid rising inflation stemming from the war in Iran. Now, that is where the issue lies, is Donald Trump wants a rate cut. He wants rate cuts. Problem is he's not going to be getting that because of the way that inflation is going. Non-farm payrolls increased by 172,000 jobs last month after rising by an upwardly revised 179,000 in April. The Labor Department's Bureau of Labor Statistics said in its closely watched employment report on Friday. And just so you know, yes, of course I have the actual one. It's right there. Thank you so much for the jewels. I appreciate that. Economists polled by Reuters had forecast payrolls increasing by 85,000 jobs after a previously reported 115,000 rise in April. Estimates for job growth ranged from 50,000 to 125,000, the increase added to gains notched in the prior 2 months. Economists estimated the economy needs to create between 0 and 50,000 jobs per month to keep up with growth in the working age population. The so-called break-even rate has dropped because of an immigration crackdown that has reduced the labor force, limiting the rise in the unemployment rate. So they say. The jobless rate remained at 4.3% for a third straight month. That's stagnant. That's not good. So that's the thing that doesn't make sense. How are you have such an increase in jobs, but the unemployment rate is staying the same for the third straight month? Tell me how that math works. The improvement in payrolls mostly reflects low layoffs. Businesses have been cautious about boosting hiring as they deal with uncertainty, first from President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs last year and now the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran. There is so far no indication that the Middle East conflict, which has unleashed a surge in oil prices and other products shipped through the Strait of Hormuz, is having a material impact on the jobs market. Fiscal stimulus in the form of tax and tariff refunds has bolstered corporate profits and allowed businesses to refrain from large-scale firings, economists are saying. The U.S. Supreme Court in February struck down the tariffs, and some businesses have filed for refunds. Corporate profits increased by $40.4 billion in the first quarter and have been rising since the second quarter of 2025. Despite the strength in payrolls, the labor market remains in what economists have termed a slow hire, slow fire equilibrium. Financial markets expect the U.S. Central Bank to leave its benchmark overnight interest in the 3.50% to 3.7% range in 2027, which is exactly what they don't want to see. That is not what Donald Trump wants to see. So let me go to actual one. So let's go to the stock market, because Donald Trump truthed about it. I'm not going to show that truth, but I'm going to show you this. Swarovski, if you are here, avert your eyes. Let me update this gift goal real quick. I'm sure you've already seen it, my friend. Because despite this, this is not what the fans want to see. What does that mean? That's not good. Stock market today, Dow, S&P 500, NASDAQ sink as jobs report fuels Fed hike bets, chip stocks sell off. U.S. stock fell sharply on Friday, with tech leading the way down after the release of May's job report blew past expectations, while a rotation out of tech stocks and chip makers continued. The Dow Jones Industrial fell 0.7%. The benchmark S&P 500 slid 1.6%, while the tech-heavy NASDAQ composite sank over 2.5%. The May jobs report far exceeded expectations for job growth, with U.S. employers adding 172,000 jobs last month, compared with economists' expectations for around 88,000. The unemployment rate held steady at 4.3%. But the strong report also fueled bets on rate hike from the Federal Reserve at some point this year, with the labor market stabilizing as inflation runs high. Traders are now fully pricing in a rate hike from the central bank by the end of the year, even as President Trump continues to call for cuts as Kevin Warsh, his appointee to the Fed chair, takes the helm. Uh-oh. Yes, I happen to be a woman expressing to you what is going on. Donald Trump's not going to be happy with that. So even though it's rising, inflation is also rising. That's not something that they want to see. So let's talk to Kevin Hassett about the jobs report. Kramer, who we all saw glitch the fuck out last week, Kramer is going to ask him specifically about it. Oh, it's a TikTok sound? I must not. I probably would recognize it if I heard it. W. Dragons Kelp for the $2 train over there on Venmo. Thank you for the 22 twain. I appreciate it, guys. It brings us down to 78. Let's keep working on that, please. I know you guys can do it. I've seen you guys support, so let's keep working on that. So here's Kramer talking to Hassett about the jobs report.
There's a considerable part.
But before I say that, the jobs report, but specifically Kramer is going to talk to him about the fact that, okay, the jobs report looks like this, but people are hurting. Actively, people are hurting. Again, I will continue to say it. I will say it every motherfucking day. Credit card spending has increased. People are delinquent and deficient on their credit card debts, and they're using it to buy necessities. And Kevin Hassett, this little fuck turd, excuse me, I almost slurred, fuck turd right there, is the one who specifically said that that is a good thing. Even though it's not a good thing, we know that it's a sign of a recession. I deeply apologize for almost doing that, guys. Still unpacking. I want you to know, everybody's unpacking every day. Touting credit card spending as a good thing. It's not a good thing. We know that it's a recession indicator. On top of that, he admitted himself that although people are spending more on gas, they're spending more on everything else, which hopefully we can get into because they asked Bessent about Hassett's comments. So Kramer is saying, hey, by the way, you guys, I know it's going to bleep me, but still, for my own self, I don't like the fact that that almost came out. Kramer is going to say, people are hurting. The American people are hurting, and you're touting this jobs report. What are you planning to do about it?
There's a considerable part of the people who are not doing well in this country, and they need the help of the Fed. And I am surprised that you're not addressing those people, the people who make less than $40,000 in this country, who need help, who've seen SNAP benefits decline, who have the higher gasoline prices because of a war in Iran. What about them?
Well, obviously, we care about everybody that's in this jobs report and everybody who's not in the jobs report because they might be looking for a job.
Except we're not seeing that through the administration policies. We're not seeing that.
The bottom line, though, is that in the end, we're talking right here in this hit about the aggregate number, and the aggregate number is through the roof good. When you get growth like this, GDP now of around 4%, jobs 170,000, unemployment rate not going up, then that's great news for.
But it's not going down either. So why is it staying stagnant like that?
Workers, because just let's remember, Jim, that when the unemployment rate goes up, it's the guy at the bottom who loses his job first, right? And so these numbers are good across the board for
good for
folks.
a lot of people. They're good for a lot of people, but how about the people who can't afford a home? We have to worry about them.
And we're also having issues with a huge rise in mortgage defaults again in this country. So you can try and paint these numbers good if you want to, but the real life situation is that people are not seeing that. So then Hassett talks about the fact that what I just showed you, the stock market does not look nice today. Regardless of the jobs report, the stock market is slipping because then they are anticipating a rate hike. And so this is Kevin Hassett's explanation for that, which is of course going to be something completely rooted in reality and statistics.
Right now, Wall Street just doesn't understand that the Trump economy is really creating an economic golden age. And then another thing that is probably not going to make the headlines, certainly not in the fake news, is that the numbers keep getting revised up. So you remember under Biden, they kept revising the numbers down.
By the way, Trump had revisions down last year as well.
Well, we find
they had a revision up in April. They didn't have a revision up in the previous months before that. But again,
right now, Wall Street just doesn't understand that the Trump economy is really creating an economic golden age. And
we have been talking about the Dow right now. It's over 50,000, and yet you've been talking about, Trump has been talking about, Pam Bondi was before she left, how good the stock market is. The stock market is doing great. The stock market is doing great. Well, now that the stock market is doing bad, all of a sudden is because the Wall Street does not understand Trump's economic age. Like the amount of pretzeling and delusion to be like, unless it's because Trump, it's Trump. Unless you're praising Trump, then something's wrong with you. Or maybe Wall Street absolutely understands that this anticipates a rate hike.
And then another thing that is probably not going to make the headlines, certainly not in the fake news, is that the numbers keep getting revised up. So you remember under Biden, they kept revising the numbers down. Well, we find that the previous months, they jacked the numbers up by another 100,000.
Yeah, I see that. Revisions were higher in March and higher in April.
And it's because of the Trump boom, the big, beautiful bill. We've got all these factories, the 18 trillion and
It's not. Where's that? Again, where is this 18 trillion? He keeps talking about this 18 trillion. Where is it? Where is the investment? Where is the groundbreaking that comes from the 18 trillion and not from things like the CHIPS and Science Act and the infrastructure bill? Because most of the things that I've found where you guys have told me to look up, most of them came from the infrastructure bill or the CHIPS and Science Act.
Factory spending is starting to really show up. We got 71,000 more construction workers.
I just want to jump in here.
Right now, Wall Street just doesn't understand.
But so Wall Street doesn't understand. Oh my God, that's a great way to do that. Let me go over here. W's, I'm just going to say, thank you, W's to Anonymous, just for the bleeps. Thank you for the 833, which brings our goal down to 6967. So W's to Anonymous for that. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. That brings us to wonderful disappointed olive face.
I'm doing bills, and this is what I come back to? Jesus.
67. Angel numbers is insane, Ashby. That's And then also we have this small clip from Fox News about the fact that, okay, sure, the jobs report seemed like it was good, but here's a bad thing that's going on in the economy right now, and we need to face the reality of this.
So one blight on this report for May, inflation has now outpaced.
I don't know. Shinkatola, how much manufacturing is coming here? Can you show me some companies that have committed to coming here because of Donald Trump?
Jobs, the wages for the first time. You see inflation in April at 3.8% over the past 12 months. Wages are up 3.4% over that time. So right. And are they hiring, Z-Spark? My husband has currently been applying to jobs. He has a job, but he's been applying to other jobs. The amount of ghost jobs that are out there because they just put jobs out there to make it look good, but they're not actually hiring is a fucking problem. But inflation is outpacing wages. People are not making enough to keep up with the cost of goods. But Donald Trump keeps touting that this is the best economy we've ever had, and he's fixed it, and it's great, except for yesterday when he cried about the fact that he inherited high prices, but apparently isn't going to do anything about that. Let's see. Go to Hassett again, because then we're asking Hassett, hey, you guys said that you were going to get China to start buying soybeans and product again. Have you guys been able to do that? Of course, Hassett should know this. He's part of the Economic Council.
Has China started buying American farmers' products? What's the status right now?
I'd have to get an update on that. Besides, what the impact on the global economy?
I'll get back to you on that. He doesn't know. He doesn't know if China's buying American farmers' product. Why doesn't he know that information? That's his job to know that information. Why doesn't he know that? And, of course, back to, let's see, I'm going to do, maybe it's this one. I think this one might have the whole thing, because I don't want to, nope, that's a different one. Okay, I just wanted to make sure those weren't the same clip that I highlighted twice. I didn't want to do that. So Kevin Hassett again, but the biggest issue is going to be gas prices because of this war in Iran that we did not need to get into, but we're in it.
Okay, so here's a stick in the mud, and that's gas prices. Put it on screen right now. Today, the national average is $4.22. A year ago, however, you look at the top line of $4.22. You look at the bottom line, a year ago it was $3.14. Now, today it has come down, but we went out in mid-May and passed a Fox poll number about how much of a problem this is with the rising gas prices for your family. And it's a major problem for 51%. For the economy, they believe it's 75%. If you solve that issue, maybe these numbers improve.
That's how people feel about it right now. How much of a problem are rising gas prices for the nation's economy? 75% say it's major. How much of a problem are rising gas prices for your family? 51% say it's major.
This administration does not care about that.
But that's a drag, sir, on the economy and the individual.
You're right, and it's our view that it's a temporary phenomenon. That
it's our view that it's a temporary phenomenon. The problem is that how temporary? What is temporary? Because the president of the United States has constantly said he's not in a hurry to get it done. He doesn't think about the Americans' financial situation at all. So how long is temporary? Because the prices were down. We didn't need to do this. And yet here we are. W's to you tappers over here on TikTok for the 117,000 likes. You guys hit over 100,000 likes and we haven't even hit the top of the hour. Holy fucking shit. You guys are fucking fantastic on the taps this morning. I appreciate it.
Y'all were saving your taps for Monty. I see how it is. I see how it is.
To be fair, they hit your goal a lot quicker than they were.
They did hit my goal. That is fair.
So we just swapped. I'm getting likes.
Yeah,
you
but
got the
they can
donut.
still hit your goal too. So.
So guys, make sure we keep working on those things. Thank you guys so much for the likes and where we are at. That means I know for a fact we can hit 200,000 before we hit noon Mountain Time. So thank you guys so much for doing that. Again, I will tell you, I think you're building muscle and I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. So let's keep pushing. Let's keep doing all of those good things to support. So here is CNBC. It's not Kramer. They show Kramer, but it's somebody else asking Hassett again about gas prices.
You know, when it comes to the other side of things in terms of inflation.
Serge, where are we prosperous again? Show me by what metric we're prosperous again. I would like to see it.
And at least some of the commentary that we've heard from oil executives and the like, if things continue in Iran at where they are and the strait continues to be largely closed, there does seem to be a lot of concern about inventories and the fact that we could see far higher oil prices. How are you figuring that?
Because now the issue is not only are we running low on reserves, other countries are running low on reserves as well. We're running out of oil. That increases the cost.
Oh, you know.
Serge, gas prices are going down. What? Serge, did you really just say that? Okay. Oh, can't spell today. That's okay. Going down from what? So let's talk about where it was before the war. All right. $66 a gallon for crude. Because he started a war we didn't need. 89.70. I don't give a fuck what your gas price is in bumfuck Arkansas. And actually, the fact that you said that it is $3.19 in bumfuck Arkansas just proves to me that you don't listen. Because Donald Trump, during this point in time, was saying that gas prices are underneath $2. Apparently, they're not, right? That's just one website. They are tracking crude. Brent crude is 92. You want to do average gas per gallon? We can do that as well. You want to do gas per gallon? Let's see where it was before the war started. 27th. 146 a gallon was the national average. It's now 3.03. What are you talking about? Also, it's probably not 3.19. But I don't have to. I have eyes. Do you? Text me a picture of your local gas pump to the number on the screen. It is a Google number. Text me a picture of your local gas station, of the gallon per gas. I want to see it. I will put it on the screen for everybody to look at. Show me. Text it to the number on the screen. Bullshit. You can keep deluding yourself and lying. It's just not true.
Continues to be largely closed. There does seem to be a lot of concern about inventories and the fact that we could see far higher oil prices. How are you figuring that?
Yeah, preferably with today's date would be great.
Oh, you know, for sure, like eventually you run into a problem with inventories. There's very ample inventories right now. We follow them every day. You know, there's both government inventories and private inventories of the billions of barrels. They have been running down. I'd say we're about 1 billion barrels short from where we should have been if the straits had been open the whole time. But that's something that can be refilled if we can get the straits open in a reasonable amount of time.
Serge, can you prove to me that Trading Economics is a democratically based website? Can you prove that to me, Serge? It's not my only source. You can just look up average gallon for gas. You'll get AAA. You'll get Gas Buddy. What are you talking about?
If that doesn't happen, though,
Cope and seeds, babe.
do we end up in this tank bottom scenario if we get through June with no relief?
Well, I wouldn't say that the inventory problem starts to be a problem in June. I think it's quite a bit farther down the road than that. But
When? When does the inventory become a problem? If not in June, when?
But absolutely, you know, at some point, oil prices, you know, if they stay high forever and ever, then there's inflation and then higher prices. But that's not what our expectation is. And indeed, even if you know the straits stay closed, what will happen will be they'll start building pipelines to get into the Red Sea and so on.
Which takes time. That infrastructure takes time. So what you're saying is even if we give up and Iran just leaves the strait closed in perpetuity, they'll start building pipelines somewhere else. That's going to take time. So our prices are not going down anytime soon.
So markets adjust to these things.
I do appreciate the hate super chats. Thank you to David from Pennsylvania for the $1.99 super chat to say, I feel so bad for this woman's husband laughing my fucking ass off. R.I.P. Now, guys, friends, what do I say to that? Because me and my husband have been together for coming up on 16 years this November. If you feel sorry for him, that's great. You're trying to say he's miserable. He's been here for 16 years. What does that mean? That's on him at this point, baby doll. If he wants to stick around and be miserable, that's on him. But apparently I throw that pussy so good that he stays. So I don't know what to tell you about that. Oh, here he is right now. Baby, they feel bad for you. Don't you teacup when you get up here. Get your ass back here.
R.I.P. When did I die?
I don't know, but I haven't taken out the life insurance policy yet. You can't die yet.
What the fuck is R.I.P.?
Because I don't know, they feel
I
bad
wouldn't have
for
gone
you.
to work. I wouldn't have gone to work today if I was dead.
Yeah, damn sure would not. That's true.
She does beat me, Eli. I would say that there's links in my
God,
bio.
that does not.
I would say there's links in my bio to help me escape, but they're her links. So.
Serge, you're saying that I'm triggered by truth and that statistics aren't reliable. Again, text me. Who did that? Audrey. Text me a picture of the marquee. Text me a picture of the marquee with that gas price. Audrey helped you escape. Hi, Audrey.
I thought that'd be funny because it was right after he's like, help me escape, but it's her leaks. Okay. So, gas price theory. And I can't take credit for this. This is credit given to someone I work with. But it actually made a lot of sense, right? Especially coming from a MAGA. But she was like, I think they're conditioning us on the gas prices being the oil companies because they're raising it and then they're slowly bringing it back down, but not to the levels they were before it got up to above $4, right?
Yeah, they did this
so,
with COVID.
My gas is $3.62. Literally last week it was $4.07. All right. It is probably going to start going back up again because before it hit 4, it was at $3.57. I don't think we'll see that, but before it hit 4 the last time, it was at $3.32. So it makes sense because they're not bringing it back down to the levels that it was before it ever hit that $4 mark. In Florida, by the way, guys.
Right.
A very red state.
Etsy, is it Etsy TV? Said Democrats also raise property taxes. Oh my God. So property taxes are local. That's not a federal thing. Democrats may have raised them if you had a majority of Democrats vote to raise property taxes. Don't know if you know, you vote on those. If you don't know what a levy bill is, or if you've looked at your ballot and didn't know what a levy bill is, that's going to be property taxes.
And I just,
Jesus Christ,
y'all really like property taxes today of all days. Today, me in Florida, you're going to bring up property taxes to me, who now this state. All right. I'll give this is already out there, so it's not like I'm giving inside information. Florida legislator is moving a measure forward to the ballot to be voted on November 3rd about increasing the exemption amount from your property value to be exempt from taxes. Your property taxes will no longer go to the disaster preparedness in your local municipalities or counties in the state of Florida because it is no longer in the budget because it is going to cut $8.4 billion from the local government's budget across the entire state of Florida. So, hello, hurricanes. This state will no longer be prepared for them. Point blank, period.
Speaking of, are you in a hurricane right now? I'm just kidding.
Very windy, so it would not surprise me.
So let's do, which actually, okay. This is AAA. Surge. This is AAA. This is Arkansas. Is your county retail prices from 4.17 at the highest to 3.6 at the lowest for your average gas price, and you can go into every county and find your average. So
it's always in front of my face because it's so windy. Sorry, guys.
Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Yeah, I'm in Illinois. I'm 50 years old, and I voted for Trump.
Okay, why are you still supporting Trump?
For the same reason that liberals are becoming independent and turning MAGA themselves.
And that reason is why?
Oh, because after the past few years, all Democrats been doing is lying, stealing, cheating, calling for violence.
What did the Democrats lie about?
All types of stuff, man. I mean, look at right now, like it's election time. So you're going to hear them talk about, we're going to fight for the rights of the people, bring back jobs, lower prices, and, you know, whatever. And then all of a sudden, once election time's over and they're voted in, it's going to go back to more wars, more crazy high prices. That's the same old routine with these people.
What did,
and I sent you a picture.
No, you
I
didn't.
sent you a picture of my gas prices, $3.14
To this number?
at a Myers.
To this number?
Yeah, this
No,
number.
you didn't.
Yeah.
To this number? No, you
Yes,
didn't.
it was not off my number, off another number that I got. I got multiple
Yes,
phones.
and the only text messages that I have on here was somebody who on Wednesday texted me 3 different times about human trafficking and a bot number that I get about applications. That's the only text messages I have on this number right now. But what is Donald Trump doing to lower prices?
Hold on, I'm going to send you a picture. I'm going to take a picture of my picture.
Of the marquee,
real quick.
right? A picture
No,
of my picture.
I'm at the Myers, and I looked across the parking lot from by the Myers. I pulled up into Burger King, and I looked across the street at the gas station. It said 314, so I took a picture of it for you.
Sure. And when did you take that picture? Just now?
Right now. I'll even leave the info on there so you can see the details right here. Bam. And here's the details. Friday, June 5th, 2026, 11:51 a.m. So here, let me take this pic for you. And then you can go ahead and show all your audience what it is. Bam. Okay. So let's send. All right, it's sending right now. 314, baby, and then premium's 414.
To 509-795-0412.
Yeah, 509-795-0412.
Okay. I don't know why I'm not getting a text. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Thank you so much. Let me take.
Are you going to share that pic and show everybody or what?
Let me see. This was June 5th. Wait, does that say 5th? Yes, June 5th. Okay, hold on. You're taking a picture of a picture. Where did you get that from? That's not your
My other phone. My other phone. Because I'm on the phone with you on this one, so I grabbed my other phone.
Let me see. What is that gas station called?
That's the Meyer gas station.
Okay, Meyer.
And down the street,
Hold on.
I got a pilot like 5 minutes up the road, but I'm in the parking lot of Burger King right now. So I just figured I'll take that picture just because it's right there.
What county in Illinois is that in?
Cook County.
Cook County.
Yeah, actually, I'm on the Indiana border of Chicago. It's just a small town, so people always don't know what I'm talking about. So everybody just reverts to Chicago.
Right, because I'm trying to find, all I'm finding is like 425. I'm not, when I'm Googling Myers gas station, Illinois 314.
Yeah, well, I live in Illinois. You asked me where I'm from. The gas station I'm at is in Highland, Indiana. If you want to be specific, look up Highland, Indiana, Myers. There's a Best Buy, a Burlington, a Lynn's, and a bunch of other stuff. I just stopped in for lunch real quick.
Okay, but that's not, you just said, bro, you said I'm in Illinois and the gas price is this, and you're taking a picture of Indiana. That's like, what?
No, you asked me where I'm from and who I voted for. I said I'm from Illinois.
I said age, state. And who I didn't
Yes,
specify. I
you
didn't
asked-
specify where you're from. I specified state.
Yeah, where I'm from, how old I am, and who I voted for. So I told you I'm 50 years
I
old.
didn't ask
I'm
where
from
you're from.
Illinois.
No. I didn't ask where you were from. I never asked where you were from. I just said state in general. You gave me Illinois and then use that as your basis. Yes, and then use that as your basis. So yes, in Indiana, it's on average 3.14 right now a gallon. Again, show me where Donald Trump has brought it down.
What was it? Last year. Google last year's gas prices at the same gas station, or better yet, not last year. How much was it in Biden's second or third term? Google that one.
See,
like how much was it in Joe Biden's second term
actually,
and third term?
What
and
I
see
can
what
tell
that
you
price
is what I can tell you is what I just showed on the screen, which is the fact that it was down when Donald Trump came into office. It continued to go down in his second term. What you're talking about are years, but in his second term in 2025, the gas prices were going down until he started this war with Iran. So he is not doing anything to effectuate the gas prices besides making them go up.
Okay, hold on. Before you pervert this situation, I said look up Joe Biden's second year in office.
Yes, I'm very aware that you guys. I'm very aware.
When election time.
Yeah, that's called what we call that. We call that cherry picking because that was not the gas price when he left office. That was not the gas price. That was not the gas price when he left office. That was the highest. What policy did Joe Biden effectuate to make the gas prices look like that in 2022?
Every time Democrats run for office, prices get lower. They talk all this garbage.
What policy did Joe Biden put into place in 2022 to cause the gas prices to go up?
Well, hold on. Let me search it real quick since you want to be,
don't know.
Technical, but you don't want. No, hold on. I'm going to do it right now.
Yes, I want cause and effect.
This is a two-way street.
I want direct cause and effect. Absolutely, sure.
Okay, so when I give it, answer me and don't float around and beat around the bush.
Oh, cry about it. Go look it up.
So
find the policy that you find the policy that you don't know about, but you believe this with your heart. Go find it.
Is there a policy? Wait, hold on. Policy.
Guys, keep tapping the screen. Do the good things. We have 6967 left in the goal. Thank you so much.
Joe Byron.
Audrey, he calls me all the time. He calls me all the time.
What should I put? Enacted or signed? Joe Biden signed that made gas prices go up in what, 2022 you said?
Yeah, because that's the year you guys are talking about.
Okay, 2022. The war in Ukraine, post-pandemic demand, global supply limits.
Cool. Perfect. Pause. Did the global pandemic, did Joe Biden cause that?
No, but if you're going to blame Joe Biden.
Wait. So we cannot blame Joe Biden for the gas prices because of COVID and supply chain issues. Now, oil not producing as much oil or not importing, as much oil. Do you know why that was the case?
No, but I don't know why you're blaming Trump for the high gas prices if you ain't going to blame Biden for the gas prices. Because it's all their party.
Because it was a direct effect. Because Joe Biden did not put in any policy. We happened to have a war with Ukraine and Russia, and so we put sanctions on Russian oil, so we were no longer getting Russian oil, so gas prices went up. On top of the fact that we were post-pandemic, we were post-pandemic, so we were dealing with supply chain issues. On top of the fact that Donald Trump did a deal, which I think he had to do. I'm not blaming him for this. But in his first term, he had to do a deal with OPEC called the OPEC Plus 2020 deal. What that did is had OPEC producing 10 million barrels less a day of oil. He did the deal for 2 years instead of doing it for 2 months. So into Joe Biden's term, there were issues with the amount of oil that was being produced by OPEC. Now, what you cannot show me is where Joe Biden effectuated that at all. The difference with that and what is happening now is that we did not need to go to war with Iran. Donald Trump was warned by his people, his intelligence agency, that if he did this, Iran was going to close the strait, then affecting global oil markets. And that is where we are at now.
Okay, now where we are at right now, I took Joe Biden's name out and I put in Donald Trump's name, and I took out in 2022, and I left that blank for any policy at any year, at any time, and it tells me the same thing. There is no single policy Donald Trump signed that was explicitly designed to raise gas prices.
How did you type it in?
Telling me the same thing.
No, how did you type it in?
I typed, is there a policy that Donald Trump signed that made gas prices go up?
Well, duh. I asked you specifically because you said that the prices were up because of Joe Biden, so I asked you about policy specifically. I know that Donald Trump didn't sign a policy that caused prices to go up. What he did is start a war in Iran that caused prices to go up.
No, the war was already going on in Gaza that led to Pakistan, that led to Iran, that led to all these countries getting.
No.
War was
Israel, no. Israel attacked Iran in February, and we also decided we would join with Israel and attack Iran in February of 28th of 2026.
What I'm saying is the war was already going on with Gaza, and it spread it from Gaza
that had
to
nothing
other
to do
countries.
That had nothing to do with gas. What did that have to do with gas prices? Gaza doesn't produce gas. We're talking about Iran and their oil reserves and their strait that the oil tankers run through. Why are we talking about Gaza at all right now?
Because there's a cause and effect, like you said, and the original cause
what would be the cause and effect from Gaza?
Israel invading Gaza, and then them wanting greater Israel.
No. How would that cause gas prices to go up when Gaza doesn't produce oil?
Well, how would war cause gas? How would a war cause gas prices to go up? How would inflation cause gas prices to go up? How would anything cause gas prices to go up?
Because Iran produces oil. That oil goes through the Strait of Hormuz, which they closed after we bombed them. So it would have a direct effect on the global oil market, which is why we are seeing the prices skyrocket for the entirety of the world. They stopped being able to ship oil. They stopped the shipment of oil. That is direct. Has nothing to do with Israel and Gaza because that didn't have anything to do with oil.
Well, gas prices are going down right now, and you just see
They're literally not. They're literally not.
Also, they literally are because I'm seeing it.
They are not. I just showed you guys crude oil. It went down from 93 a couple days ago to 89, but it is fluctuating between $90 a barrel and $89 a barrel. I do have a different question for you.
Okay, but I just showed you.
Hold on. I do have it. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I do have a different question for you. Do you go by the name of Bad by chance?
Yes, I do.
Of course you do. That guy calls me all the time. Why is my number all fucked up now? I don't know why it looks like that now.
Man said Gaza in all caps.
He did say Gaza in all caps. I don't know what Gaza would have to do with oil prices because they don't effectuate that. That was weird. That's weird, bro. That's weird behavior, bro. Okay. Anyway, W's to Ari for the $2, by the way, that to mention that information. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for? Okay. So W's to Ari for the $2 to ask him if his name was bad, and it absolutely was him. He calls me all the time. And again, you didn't say that the picture was from Indiana initially. Then I would have been like, okay, yeah, that's right. But you said you were in Illinois, but you're not in Illinois. I don't ask you where you're from. I ask you the state. I just say state. The fuck? That would be weird. Could you imagine me answering? I'm from Washington State. That's not the fucking... No, that's not... What? All right, getting back to the economy. Guys, make sure we are still doing all of the good things, please. I would appreciate it. We have the little friendship necklaces that we need to get accomplished. If you're over there on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button for me. I would appreciate it. Yeah, he was all over the place. All over the fucking place. 156,000 likes. You guys are doing amazing. So I know that we can definitely get to 200,000 before that. Thank you guys so much. We're going to keep working on this thing on the economy, but I have 6,767 left on my goal. So if we could get that accomplished through Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, I'd appreciate it. We have an hour to get that done. Let's work on a $1 train, a $2 train, so that we can get that done, guys. This is my job. This is what I do for a living. Let's get that done, please.
You guys, I just had to deliver to Focus on the Family. I posted a picture of Monica's live chat. If you know, you know. So if you hit the links in her bio, I'll stop and get some eggs on the way back to Denver.
Oh my God. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
My name is Charlie. I am from Arkansas. Also, I'm originally from Texas. I voted for Trump.
Okay, and how old are you, Charlie?
Like walks on the beach.
I am 27.
Okay, why are you still supporting Trump?
Well, because Trump is doing a lot of good things in our country that not a lot of people can recognize that he's doing for our country because they are more upset about social issues that
Can you name one
don't
thing?
really matter that
Can you
much.
name one thing he's doing that's beneficial for the American people, and we can talk about it?
The big beautiful bill, he kind of tax cuts and getting more money into American pockets by cutting taxes like state tax or federal tax from certain states like Florida, Texas, Arkansas.
How is the minimal amount of tax that people are getting back, or tax money that people are getting back through the OBBA, beneficial when he is cutting so much from programs that they also desperately need in these areas?
Well, these programs that are meant for these areas are being abused by
How so?
people who are non-citizens. It's been reported by people who come from Mexico coming in using their children's Social Security.
No. Wait, are there
Yes, they
children
have.
are there children born here?
Their children who are born here, but their parents are not. But the parents are benefiting off their
The parents do not.
kids'
No.
Social Security.
Okay, so what you want to do is take it away from the children because the parents might also eat the same food that they buy for the money provided to the U.S. citizen children by our government.
No, you're twisting my words. If the parents are using it for their children's benefits, then
Yes.
by all means, but they're not using it for the children's benefit. How
do
does
you
a
prove
kid
they're
know how to
not?
drive a car? How does a kid need certain things that are for, because these adults are using their kids' socials to get money for their own health care.
Prove that.
For their own.
Prove that. Prove that.
I don't have to prove anything.
Well, then you are believing stuff without evidence then. So things that you are saying without evidence, I can dismiss without evidence. That means you have a lot of feelings, but you don't have any proof. Give me proof.
There is proof.
Give me the proof.
Okay. Well,
You've never looked it up. You just believed it. Somebody said it to you and you just believed it. Prove to me that they are
Democrats
using.
do. Most Democrats listen
absolutely
to
not.
Democrats and not believe it. Yes.
When I make claims, I provide proof for those claims. So the fact that you believe something without any proof is really ridiculous. I can't believe you are so deluded. You are
that's both
claiming.
sides.
You are claiming.
That's both sides.
You are. It's not.
That-
It's
that-
absolutely
both
not.
sides.
That is
you told
also
me that
not an
all-
excuse. Even if it was both sides, that is not an excuse for you. That is
But
lazy.
there is
That
proof.
is
There's been
lazy.
proof. There's in our
That is
media,
fucking
there have been
lazy.
people talking about this issue for decades.
No. You made the claim that illegal immigrants are using their children's
Just 'cause
social
I can't
security
provide
numbers.
proof right now doesn't mean
I know. That are using their children's social security numbers to get health care for themselves. Prove that. Or stop saying it on the internet.
Okay, I'll prove it. Just give me a moment. I have to get
go ahead.
evidence. I'm not a professional debater.
Go ahead,
I'm
do
not
that.
like you who have all this evidence.
Stop
into
talking
some
and go do
form
it.
of
You're
state
on a
file.
phone. Go do it. Go do it. I'm going to make an announcement to my friends here. W's to Justin for the $2.67.
I'm trying to do that versus you.
Be quiet
randomly. My
and do
God.
it. Be quiet and do it. W's to Justin
You're
for the
not gonna tell me to be quiet.
$2.67. For the $2.67, I'll just put him on hold. W's to Justin for the $2.67 on the Green app for might have to be Aldi eggs, but so W's too. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, guys. I saw that artist said that my link tree wasn't working. If you're having issues with that, I apologize. My name on all of my pay links is the same as it is here, just Monty Duh. That's the name for all of my pay links for Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal, guys. You searching for that proof?
I have to make it home first. My goodness.
Okay, call back when you do that. The fuck? You think I'm gonna stay on the phone with you like that? He's not wrong. Surge, you've got nothing. Jeff, did you mean to request?
Yes.
Okay. Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Can I get your age just for TikTok?
Yeah, 28.
Okay. What do you want to talk about, Jeff?
I wanted to talk about the Medicaid stuff we were talking about before.
Sure.
So the thing that I was referring to was the elimination of the essential plan for New York State residents.
Let's see. New York. Elimination of essential plan. Because I'm not in New York, so that's why I asked. I was like, I want to say, let's see. The elimination of it. Expanded. Let's see, this is June 3rd of 2026. This is an article because I'm trying to find New York Essential Plan income cutoff leaves middle earners without affordable coverage. The state's essential plan is cutting off people who make $31,920 and $39,900 a year after June 30th. The plan had served as a middle ground for those who earn too much to qualify for Medicaid but not enough to afford other marketplace options. A loss of federal funding leaves those making $31,920 ineligible for the plan's coverage. Let me see if I can find. I want the actual governmental crap. Affordable Care Act subsidy kept their premiums around $315 a month, but pandemic-era tax credits expired in January and premiums jumped. That's for this person specifically. Who, and Kathy Hochul did this?
Yeah.
And the proof of that is what? And will be instead eligible for qualified health plans. So this is from the Department of Health from the state of New York. The New York State Department of Health provided an update following federal... No, you don't, artist. You can... There's a button, artist, that you can do that allows you to do that without having my number. The New York State Department of Health provided an update following federal approval from the Centers for Medicaid and Medicaid Services, CMS, so that's going to be federal, of the state's request to terminate its Section 1332 state innovation waiver and return to basic health program. Provide an update following federal approval of the state's request. Okay. The transition preserves essential plan coverage for approximately 1.3 million New Yorkers with incomes below that. As a result, the federal policy changes. Most of the approximately 450,000 New Yorkers currently enrolled through the essential plan benefits will become eligible for qualified health plans in the individual marketplace beginning July 1st, 2026, where they face higher premiums, deductibles, and out-of-pocket costs, which again is going to be an issue with insurance companies. I agree, but it is, it sounds like it was a interim because of COVID that they no longer have the money for, so they are updating it. The affordable burden is compounded by the expiration at the end of 2025 of enhanced premium tax cuts that were first established under the American Rescue Plan of 2021, credits that congressional Republicans allowed to expire. Those credits significantly lowered quality health plan premiums for moderate and low-income consumers. Without them, costs in the qualified health plan market are nearly 40% higher. So it looks like it's going to be more expensive because Republicans made it more expensive by not continuing the ACA subsidies. Now, granted, I'm not happy about New York State getting rid of this program, but if they don't have the funding for it because they're not getting that funding for it from cuts from the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, I can't necessarily blame Democrats for that. You have to go above their head, which is that they are missing that subsidy funding from Republicans. Jeff?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Like there were cuts because of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, there were cuts to these programs, to these subsidies. And so it's forcing the states to have to push. I know, I got kicked off of my SNAP because they changed the requirements. But I'm not blaming Democrats in Colorado for kicking me off of SNAP. I'm blaming the One Big Beautiful Bill.
Yeah, it's very confusing because it's like, on one hand, I think that tax cuts are great.
They can
But
be.
yeah, but then when stuff like this happens, it's kind of like people are being screwed over because of it.
Right. Because the issue is not like, yes, I will always say we admit to the fact that the one big beautiful bill did tax cuts across the board, so for everybody, and that's great. The issue is that disproportionately it went to the rich, and to pay for that, they are taking away from the people in the lower rungs who they gave tax cuts to. They're taking away their SNAP and their medical, or forcing states to have to get rid of their SNAP and their medical, and that's where I have an issue. So it's like, yeah, it sounds good when they talk about tax cuts, when the Republicans talk about tax cuts, but then how do we fund our government and how do we pay for these programs that people still need? I wish we didn't need these programs, but we do because we live in capitalism where, as I just showed earlier, inflation is outpacing wage growth.
I actually wanted to ask about that too, because
Sure.
hasn't that been pretty much consistently happening for the past like 20 years?
Inflation outpacing wage growth? Actually, no. That's been the first time in the last like year or so, or probably since like COVID, that we're starting to see that again. Wages were outpacing inflation, and now it's going the opposite way again. So it doesn't
Oh, wow.
always happen. It kind of flip-flops depending on how the economy is doing. And the economy is
Yeah.
just not healthy right now. It's not doing well right now. So that is what's happening. But we have an administration that's not going to address that because they just pretend that everything's fine.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you coming up, Jeff, and actually bringing me that information, because when I was asking you specifically, I'm not asking facetiously. I legitimately wanted to see that. So thank you. I admonish the administration with Hochul for doing that, but they probably have to because they just don't have that funding. So it's an issue where they're getting put into a rock and a hard place with that funding. But thank you for bringing that to me.
You're welcome.
I hope you have a good day, Jeff.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you for calling, because I know you get nervous about, or not calling, but I know you get nervous about coming up. So thank you. I appreciate that you did. Okay. So guys, I will have that in my outline too for you New Yorkers and for you. I appreciate it. Guys, can I get W's to, I'm going to say that it is artist, because that's who you are. W's to artist for the $10 said, love you and the work you do. I try to listen daily. Thank you for pointing out the illogical and apathetic idiocracy for MAGA. Happy Pride Month. Happy Pride. So thank you, artist. Thank you so much for the 10. I appreciate you guys. That brings me down to 55. We're not even halfway, and I've got about 30 minutes left of the show. So can we start getting that together? $1 train, a $2 train, to start working on that. I would appreciate it. We still have not finished these friendship necklaces. It's Friday. You guys are doing fantastic on the tapping. We're almost at 200,000 likes, but let's keep going. Oh God, somebody brought up the Keystone, the Key Lime Pie line in the YouTube chat. Jesus Christ.
Burn it. No, mute. Fuck it.
Coming soon to you on a t-shirt. Okay.
Yeah, it's coming soon on a t-shirt, but I don't want.
So back to the economy. Fox News even asks Chris Wright, the Secretary of Energy, asks him, you guys keep boasting about the fact that we are exporting so much oil and we are drilling so much oil, which is true, but that's not affecting our gas prices. Why? Because we don't use or can't use the gas that we drill. We don't have the capabilities really to refine it, not at the level in which we use it, so we have to send it off and we have to import oil. And so the Fox News host actually asks him about that, and he actually tells the truth, which is what we've been telling you. As Donald Trump sits here and says, we don't use the Strait, we don't need it, the reason we need it open is because the market is global. And Chris Wright actually admits to that. Thank goodness.
Again, a lot of people ask this. We boast that we're a net exporter of
Yeah, Starscream, I didn't see it until right now. You don't know anything about the Keystone XL, but I would love you to call in about it.
oil now as a country. So if that's the case and we're not taking our oil in from Iran, why are our prices going higher? To that you would say what?
Well, because it's a global market. We export a lot of diesel. We don't consume nearly as much diesel as we produce, but we import a lot of gasoline. We use
Amp Broward, you said you want I want taxes paying for my SNAP for the rest of my life. That's what pays for SNAP. Don't know if you know this. My husband works a full-time job, so his tax money pays for SNAP. I have to pay taxes on what I make here as a job, so that pays for SNAP. So all I'm doing is actually using my money. I don't know why you guys think of tax money as something that doesn't belong to you, or you think it only belongs to you. You are paying into a pot. You're not putting into a snap pot for Aunt Broward. You are putting into a snap pot for everyone, for the, general welfare, as the Constitution would say. It's the general welfare. So.
And they're so against tax money going to Snap, but perfectly fine with him spending $6 million to coat a statue in gold.
Yes, that did happen.
And then having to hire, post National Guard members outside the statue so no one chips the gold off.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Steve, for the 10 on the Blue app.
That's what I was just going to say. Thank you, Steve, for the 10 on the Blue app. You said easy math today. I appreciate you. I appreciate you not making me do math today.
I appreciate you the most, Steve. Thank you so much for the 10. I'm over here crunching numbers, paying bills. I feel like I would be Ari at Ari work, at Ari job, at IRL job dealing. I hate numbers. I hope you guys know this. I hate math. Math is terrible.
You're right, Aunt Broward. I agree with you. They are meant to be temporary and not forever, which is why I haven't received them my whole life. That's not something that has happened, but we did receive them. We did get kicked off, but we just reapplied because you are able to actually do that. Do you know that you have to reapply every 6 months and you have to update them on all the info every 6 months? Also, nobody here is saying it needs to be forever. What we are saying is inflation is outpacing wage growth. So it is hard for people to afford things even with full-time jobs. Most of the adults, the majority of adults, 70% of adults who receive SNAP benefits work full-time or part-time jobs. Okay. Chris Wright.
Use a different products mix. We refine different.
I'm not lying, Amp. That's just a fact.
Different kinds of oil. We buy lower quality, more viscous oil from overseas, and we export a lot of our light champagne quality oil abroad. So the global energy system is one system. But the energy...
Okay, it's a global market. Thank you, Chris Wright. I'm glad we could get there.
Prices, oil prices...
Also that, Blue. They are more upset about people eating than corporations getting bailed out. I just showed you an article about the companies that donated to the ballroom for Donald Trump and the amount of money they received from government contracts. But you're worried about people eating.
Prices and fuel prices.
Yeah, champagne quality is weird. That's not... It's sweet, light sweet crude, but I don't know why...
Prices are much lower in the United States than they are in Europe and than they are...
Oh, it's my favorite thing that you guys do. It's fucking jingoism. Well, the prices are high in the United States, but they're still lower than the rest of the world. They're doing worse than we are, so feel better. No, just because they have 2 plates of shit and I have 1 plate of shit doesn't mean I'm going to be happy about the 1 plate of shit, Chris. No, thank you. We just didn't need to do this. We did not need to be in Iran. There was no reason for this.
In Asia, that's a result of President Trump's energy dominance agenda. They're much lower here than elsewhere, but we want them lower everywhere, and we certainly want them lower in the United States, and those days are coming.
Okay.
But we're paying a price.
Taxation is theft? That's what you said? 5 Mile Smile? Taxation is theft? And then you called me a cunt? Then don't pay your taxes. See how that goes for you. Guess what? By the way, the idea of just not paying your taxes as an affront to the government is a leftist idea. Welcome, comrade.
To solve a huge problem.
All right.
We appreciate the American public's commitment to this.
Last question.
By the way, Jay Culpa, you talking about what you make a year is not going to be indicative of what the economy is doing, and the economy is not doing well, and the consumer sentiment regarding the economy is not well either. So yeah, that was him saying that it's higher in Asia and Europe than here. And then here is Peter Navarro talking about inflation, and that apparently this inflation is owned by Iran, even though we started this.
Ballistic, and they've frozen the strait. That's driving the supply shock, and that's
okay. Good. I'm glad that we are aware and that we're capable of understanding that Iran does this. Yes, Ron Vara, Steve. He's a world-renowned economist that Peter Navarro cited in his economy book. Ron Vara. Oh, no, it's just an anagram of Navarro. He Tom Riddled himself. Okay, got it.
their inflation. The Democrats are going to try to stick us with it. The legacy media is going to try to help.
The inflation that the Democrats are going to try to stick us with. How are the Democrats sticking you with inflation that is 3.8%? That is just 3.8% is the inflation. How is that the Democrats' fault? What are you talking about? Do you not know anything about Peter Navarro, Viking? You should. You should look up Peter Navarro and the economist that he found to cite in his book.
Help them do it. But that's Iran terror, inflation, and ballistic.
I want to hear that again.
And they've frozen the strait. That's driving the supply shock. And that's their inflation. The Democrats are going to try to stick.
No, it's ours, because we did not need to bomb Iran so that Iran would close the strait. The strait was open before Israel and the U.S. bombed them. No, it is theirs. They own it. Make them own it. Stop trying to deflect. How can you have won? How can you have won by a landslide, have a mandate in Congress and a majority-held Republican Congress and a conservative court? How can you have all of that and still at the same time be a victim? How? You guys are cucks. Little beta cucks. That's all you are. Okay, let's see what we've got. 30 minutes, see what we can... Oh, well, actually, real quick, I forgot I had this one. This one is still economy, kind of. Chris Wright talking yesterday while Donald Trump falls asleep about solar, because you guys are just not smart.
But because we had those coal plants operating...
I'll try to remember to turn it off,
and running.
But I can't do it while I'm live.
But because we had those coal plants operating and running, and not only did they run... Wind power disappeared when the storm hit. Solar is irrelevant in the winter, so the things we talk.
Solar is irrelevant in the winter. Does the sun not shine in the winter? Oh, I know, Donovan. I know you weren't. You're totally fine. Because I live in Colorado and the sun definitely still shines. And by the way, batteries. That's what batteries are for. Ain't no sunshine when Persephone's gone. Only in Alaska, yeah.
Because we had those coal plants operating and running, and not only did they run, wind power disappeared.
By the way, he's sleeping. I'm going to start from the beginning. I just want you to listen to Chris Wright's words. Try to multitask. I know that's difficult for you. Listen to Chris Wright's words, but watch the president.
But because we had those coal plants operating and running, and not only did they run, wind power disappeared when the storm hit. Solar is irrelevant in the winter, so the things we talk about didn't even matter to our electricity grid except for cost burdens. Coal stepped up and produced 25% more electricity during this storm than its normal, reliable chugging out of electricity.
Coal is dead. Stop trying to make coal happen. Don't your feet get warm and they're going to get cold in the wintertime? W's to Jeff for the $5. You said, thank you so much for the conversation. I always learn a lot from you. I'm sorry if I come across like I'm not listening or things aren't clicking. I promise it's not intentional and I'm trying. I know you are. I truly want to believe you are. I just think that you're still kind of stuck in the duopoly of the parties and not their actual policy and what they're promoting. Maybe. And I could be wrong on that. But I appreciate you coming up and actually bringing me that information because we know and you know, and I know you're not MAGA, that the MAGA that I talk to in the chat don't do that. They don't do that. I ask them for information. They say, you don't think, or duh, it's there. So they don't do those things. So I appreciate you coming up and actually being willing to do that and have that conversation. Yes, wind power dissipates when a storm hits, I guess. I guess there's no batteries. Yes, sleepy Donnie's sleeping. Which, speaking of, I guess I will show this because this goes into that, which was interesting. We're talking about energy. This is at an event. He held this event in the Oval Office to talk about $700 million of our taxpayer money to fund coal. And this is what he said about energy. Yeah, I'll do that after this clip.
Wind, it needs subsidy. Energy shouldn't need subsidy. We have so many different forms of energy, but
energy shouldn't need subsidy. At an event about a $700 million plan for coal plants. Energy shouldn't need subsidy at an event for a $700 million plan for coal. Is that not a subsidy? Is that not a fucking subsidy? Because coal is dying. Coal is dead. It is a dead energy. And you are going to pour $700 million into it. That is a subsidy. Oh my God. I know, I'm fucking exhausted by these people. They don't live in reality. But I can be not exhausted by my wonderful, wonderful community of people who are in here, the 120 of you rocking the shit out of the likes. Thank you guys so much for the 208,000 likes. You guys hit over 200,000 likes, and I have 30 minutes left to go. You guys are fucking amazing. Thank you guys so, so much. I appreciate it. Keep tapping. Keep doing the wonderful things. I can't even tell you how much it means to me that we are getting the taps this high. Truly, truly, I appreciate it. And if you're over on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button while you're over there. That kind of counts as my like over there. It's pretty much that. What's this? Thank you for the dollar train. Choo-choo! Over here, Justin, you said this is actually George Soros. I just got locked out of my Venmo and I'm using Justin's account to fund this channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you. You're absolutely correct. I appreciate it. Guys, we haven't done it in a little while, but let's continue with the shtick for our BLM bake sale. Guys, George Soros does breathe down my neck, and he has now infiltrated Justin's Venmo, which is terrifying that he has that much power. And we all know George Soros has that much power. So George Soros is breathing down my neck to make sure you guys are putting in your Antifa dues. If you have not paid your Antifa dues, you need to pay them, or else we cannot do George Soros's BLM bake sale. And he really, really, really loves the non-binary bread, the intersectionality, the no justice, no peach cobbler, and the gay Ayatollah house cookies. So, guys, we need to. George is going to be down my neck. He is now infiltrating our friends' Venmo accounts. Please help me out. I'd appreciate it. W's to Peter for the $5 for hashtag PayPig has to give today. Hashtag Crab Queen Monty. Peter does love to give me crabs, and so I thank you for that, Peter. W's to Peter for the $5. I appreciate you. I can do that math. I can. Hey, George, can I hold a dub? God. W's to Gabrielle for the jewels. Thank you so much, Gabrielle. I appreciate it. I'm talking BS. It's the thing we do. But again, energy doesn't need subsidies, according to Donald Trump. It's interesting. And then this one is just to be petty. Really, really just to be petty. You thought the last Peter gave me crabs again. You saw how he was nodding off when Chris Wright was speaking. This is where, could you imagine? I just want you to imagine, since you guys like to.
What about Biden?
So much. Can you imagine if Biden was doing this?
Of warmth, of a job, an economy.
You don't have to listen to Zeldin. That's Lee Zeldin. Just watch Trump.
Of warmth, of a job, an economy, a community, a family. And for too long, you saw Democrats who were telling these coal miners that they should just learn the code. And what we saw during the Biden administration at the EPA, for example, was regulation after regulation after regulation trying to strangulate out of existence of warm.
I just want you guys to know that as a tired mom, I have had those afternoons on the couch where you're there and you're just like kind of falling asleep, but you're still like paying attention to the kids, but you're like falling asleep but paying attention. That's exactly what he does every single day. It's a long blink. He's just blinking, guys. It's just blinking. It's fine. Okay. What else do I? Let's get to a little bit of election stuff. We got Trump on it. Trump is going to lie about California again. So we're going to play this again because you guys don't seem to know the difference between truth and a lie. When Donald Trump speaks, you just believe what he says. Just resting my eyes. Yet the man sleep. Just resting my eyes.
But we want to be liberal.
Show what picture, Serge? You keep saying show the picture. What are you talking about?
But we want to be liberal, as they say. Or we'll say we want to be progressive. So it's no mail-in ballots. You see that's what's happening in California. They're rigging the election. Now, maybe we caught them, and maybe they won't be able to get away with it. They tried with me. They did it successfully the second time. The third time, we made it too big to rig. Too many votes. They couldn't do it. They can only go.
Again, proof, objection proof. But he is saying that California only has mail-in ballots. That's the second time that I've heard him say this now, so it's going to be his new thing because he likes to repeat himself. He is claiming that California does not have voting booths, which is interesting, 'cause that's not true.
They sort of gave up at about 9:07 when they got slaughtered with the votes that came. But we want to be liberal.
So again, why do you guys believe the shit he says? Which actually, now that I think about it, where is, I wonder. Let's see if we can look this up. Here we go. Find your polling place, California. The site is updated daily. This is California Secretary of State site. You have to enter your address, and they're going to find, oh, look, to find same-day voter registration locations in your county, early voting locations, or ballot drop-off locations, please visit early voting and vote by mail drop-off. So, oh, there are voting. Okay, so there's voting. They have voting booths. Okay. Any registered voter can go to a county elections office in person to request and receive a vote by mail ballot. Of course you can. You can do that. But you can also go to your polling place. So why? Why do you let him lie to you? But this is the big one, right? Because he has announced, which we'll talk about in a minute. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
This is Charlie again. The one that was calling about the beautiful bill. The tax cut.
Sure.
The Social Security offices have reported multiple filings of people misusing children's Social Security numbers or being stolen. And most of these reports are by families who are undocumented immigrants.
Sure. Do you have an article for that for me?
It's on a Social Security website.
What's the title of the Social Security website? Social Security. And what's the title at the top to talk about that?
Give me a second. I go back to it.
Okay. Wait, he thought I was just going to take his word after he looked it up?
Let's see.
Guys, keep doing the good things while we're sitting here. I appreciate it. Guys, 3-4 left in my goal, too.
Can't seem to find it again. Hold on.
It should be in your history if you just looked at it.
That's my history activity. Wrong one. Hold on. No, I did not. Right here. Loading. OIG offers a Spencer General Social Security, potential misuse of foster children, Social Security, and illegal immigrants, Social Security. It's dated September 25th of 2013 to the Commissioner and Inspector General.
Of what year? 2015?
Number 8A-08-12-11253. It's a potential misuse of foster children's Social Security numbers. It's also the allegations by people who are legal immigrants and people who are in the foster care system abusing or stealing SSN from foster kids.
From potential one. This is oh my god, this is 2013. Potential misuse of foster children's
Social Security numbers is from the OIG, Office of the Inspector General, September 25th, 2013. The attached final report presents the results of our audit. Our objective was to assess the potential misuse. If you wish to discuss the final report, please call me or have your staff call me. Our findings. Our analysis of earnings information disclosed potential misuse of foster children Social Security numbers for work, credit, and other purposes. For example, we identified over 3,600 foster children who had wage items in SSA's earnings suspense file. We believe the multiple names and employees associated with these SSNs may indicate SSN misuse. We also identified 67 foster children who had earnings posted to SSA's master earnings file. We believe these earnings may indicate SSN misuse because the foster children had wages from employers not generally associated with the employment of young children, such as agriculture, construction, and food service. Of the 96,000 foster children in our population, the CRA estimated that over 4,900 had credit files that contained evidence that someone may have used their SSNs for credit or other purposes. Recommendations. Partner with state and local governments to inform the foster care community. Where is this? Okay, let's look at
So this is proof that there is.
This is not about illegal immigrants. These are about foster parents. And I even
Okay,
just
not
put in the
by
word
foster parents.
I just
hold
on.
Misuse, the misuse
I
part
just
is by
credit,
foster kids.
illegal immigrants cannot be foster parents through our government, right? I just put in the word non
But they can
to
still-
find
it's a
non-citizens.
okay, so-
I just put in the word non to find non-citizens, and the only one that comes up is one search for non-credit. Your claim was that illegal immigrants are using their children's Social Security numbers to get health care or work. You did not prove that. All you showed me is potentially foster parents who have to be registered with the United States government or their local reps or their local governments are potentially misusing their foster children's SSNs. You did not prove that immigrants are doing this.
But they're saying being stolen or misused. Misuse will be a foster parent taking that and misusing it versus stealing it, which foster parents can do. But there has been a case where most people who are legal immigrants can come into our country, they're trying to get loan for their families. They go after people who...
You are extrapolating this to more than one person. And here, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be honest. So what I did is search the word immigrant in this report, again from 2013. There actually was one person. A Wisconsin social worker found $50,000 of child support judgment on a foster child's credit report. The foster child's father, an undocumented immigrant, used the child's Social Security number to get a job. The father's wages were garnished for child support, which affected the child's credit. Now that's bad. Now prove to me that that is happening at a majority amount, because the report you just gave me, the 18-page report you just gave me, shows U.S. citizens falsifying SSNs of foster children.
Fine, I was just calling again another day, and I will have a report.
Please
So I
research
just
the
call.
things that you believe in your tummy. Yes, please do that. Research the things you believe in tummy. Guys, as always, we know that I will put this in my outline because it was part of something that we looked up. So. Because I have no problem looking that up. Anyway, back to elections real quick. Bill Pulte is being appointed as the acting DNI because Tulsi Gabbard is supposedly leaving because of her husband's cancer. And so they asked him about his qualifications and why you appointed him. His answer is very telling about this year's midterms. W's to... Is your name SoCal? Because I don't want to say it wrong. So I'm going to say SoCal. If you know it's you, because I don't want to dox you. Thank you so much for the $4 for I literally dropped off my mail-in ballots at a polling place on election day. W SoCal. Yeah, I do that too. I drop off my mail-in ballots. I don't actually mail them. I actually drop them off. I physically go take them. But even then, on the days that I do that, you can see people outside in line to go vote, because they could do that. And also, by the way, for the 2016 primaries, I actually stood in line to vote. I did not do the mail-in ballot for the primary. I actually stood in line to vote. The unfortunately projected winner was already called at the time. Well, no, unfortunately, fortunately, it was the person that I already had. So, projected winner was called in at the time for the primary for the Democratic ballot, but I was standing in line at that time because I don't know if you know, they do this thing where they come around. It was at a library, and they do this thing and they come around and they hand the last person in line at the point of poll close a little placard. And they hold on to that placard to say that they are the last one and nobody can come in behind them because now the polls have closed. But since they were in line before poll close, they still get a chance to vote. So they stand there with their little card to say they're the last one because they were there before poll close. That's how that works. Yeah, just stop fucking saying shit without proof. But again, Donald Trump talking about why he appointed Bill Pulte And it's very telling why. Remember, DNI Gabbard was there when they took the ballot from Georgia, which is very interesting because why? Also, she was in the process of investigating machines that supposedly came from, I think, was it Venezuela or it was a different place? Like the ones in a different place, the voting machines. Maybe it was Puerto Rico, as if there was some sort of issue there. So it's very interesting now that it's Bill Pulte. Why, Trump? Why Bill Pulte?
President, you announced just a few days ago that you're naming Bill Pulte as the acting director of national intelligence. There's been a little bit of a pushback from some Senate Republicans. Why do you think, Mr. President, he's the best person for the job?
Well, he's very smart. He's a person who's got high integrity. He's done a phenomenal job at Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. You probably have $1 trillion in value there. When he took over, it was much less. And I guess I'm responsible for that, too, because everybody wanted me to sell it in my first term for 10% of what it's worth right now. If I would have sold it, we would have lost $900 billion. We would have lost, think of it, it's probably worth $1 trillion. And I was offered, people want me to sell it at $100 billion, a very small percentage of what it's worth now. So, and he built it up a lot, did a great job. And it's an acting position, it's not a permanent. He's not going to be permanent because, I don't think he'd want to be permanent. But he's a very smart guy, and he may find out some things about the rigged elections, et cetera, et cetera. I think.
Oh, that's why you want him in there. Got it. Again, there's been no proof about the things he has said about elections. Now, is there fraud in elections? Of course. Of course there fucking is. People like to fraud. That shit happens. The issue is that what we found is that it is a below 1%, and by below 1%, I mean like 0.0001% of voting is fraudulent. You can track that from the right-wing organization, the Heritage Foundation, that tracks that voting fraud for you. They track it. And you can check it. So it does not happen to a substantial amount to change elections, which means that the regulations and restrictions we have in place are working. By the way, on an update of this, they tried to add an amendment to that $70 billion immigration funding that only needed to be passed with a simple majority. They tried to add an amendment for the Save America Act. It died in the Senate. With Republicans voting no. Murkowski, Collins voting no. Because it's not popular. Why? Because there is not a huge amount of fraudulent voting to change elections. Donald Trump has been crying about this since honestly, he started it. Let's be honest. He won the election. Let's go back in history if you can remember. He won the election in 2016, but on the campaign trail before that with Hillary on the debate stage was already talking about the fact that if he didn't win, it would be fraud. Don't know if you guys remember that. I'll have to find the clip for next week. Yeah, the parliamentarian also threw it out, but they did try to amend it, add it as an amendment. On the campaign trail with Hillary Clinton, on the debate stage, was already throwing it out there that if he lost, it would have been fraud and it would have been cheating. He was doing this 10 fucking years ago. Yeah, was it all? Did he do that too? It was fixed when he didn't win an Emmy. He learned this from Roy Cohn. He learned this from Roy Cohn to just deny everything and you always win. You guys don't have anything. He does not have anything. And if you think you have something, apparently you have something his lawyers didn't have in the 60 plus court cases he lost. There is nothing there. This election was audited more than any election in history to find nothing for him. He lost. That was it. Let it go. But they are setting up for the fact that they know it's going to be a bloodbath in November so that they can cry foul. And I just want you to hold on to that. That the leftist woman, I'm not even a Democrat, but the leftist woman liberal, not a liberal either, that you don't like, is going to tell you now they are all going to cry foul when they lose in November. But you're just going to believe them. Because you just believe the things that he says. And I don't know why.
I do want to get into, I have a couple videos of this. It's still in the vein of elections. And that is I showed you guys videos from the Republican primary gubernatorial debate in Colorado for governor. I showed you those. I'm going to show you the couple of them that I have for the Democratic debate. There are 2 people running for governor on the Democratic ticket in Colorado. That is Phil Weiser, who is our current Attorney General, and that is Michael Bennet, who is one of our current senators, right? I, as a registered independent, I have been leaning towards Phil Weiser, seeing as he's been the one doing the fights as the AG, and Michael Bennet's, yeah, he'll yell in the Congress sometimes, but he hasn't been doing what he should, and he also voted for Trump's, 7 of Trump's cabinet picks, including Doug Burgum, Brooke Rollins, Rubio. So, I went into the debate open-minded. I really did try to go into the debate open-minded. Really all that it did is it solidified my personal vote that I think I'm going to vote Phil Weiser in this primary. W's to Ace for the $5 super chat. You said I never met a trans person in my life, yet Republicans can't stop talking about it. How about we raise minimum wage? Exactly. Inflation is outpacing wage growth, but them trans people. So, this is, Phil Weiser, because Bennett keeps trying to attack him for stuff in the first term. Bennett cannot attack Phil Weiser for any of the work he has done in Trump's second term. He is attacking him for a lawsuit he did not join on in Trump's first term. In Trump's first term, when he did the family separation policy, about 20 attorney generals across the United States joined together to sue the Trump administration for the family separation policy. Now, Phil Weiser was serving as attorney general during that time. He did not join on that lawsuit. Phil Weiser's answer to that question was that AGs were kind of scattered with what was going on in Trump's first term. Not a great excuse. I'm not going to say it's a great excuse. However, if any of us can remember ourselves, if anyone else can remember ourselves in Trump's first term, there wasn't a lot of fight back. Why? Because it was kind of bull in a china shop. We were all trying to figure out what he was doing because nobody expected him to win. So I do kind of give him the grace. Nobody expected Trump to win, and nobody really knew what he was going to do in office. But if Bennett's attacks, if the best that Bennett has is Trump's first term, Bennett sounds desperate. So this is Phil Weiser talking about the fact that Bennett has said that the suits that Phil Weiser has brought against the Trump administration recently within the second term is being played as political. Phil Weiser asked him, what suit have I brought against the Trump administration that is political that I should not have brought? And for some reason, Michael Bennet doesn't have an answer to that question.
I just want to be clear, you didn't name one lawsuit you would back out of, Mr. Weiser.
I had this attack levied on me months ago. I asked the same question. He's had months to find a single lawsuit that I brought and shouldn't, and he can't. He's making a charge. It's a serious charge, calling me an opportunist, bringing lawsuits for political reasons.
Jose, the reason he won this time is 77 million of you are very, very deluded and uninformed, lack of critical thinking individuals, on top of the fact that if you look at the Election Truth Alliance things.
Not to protect the people of Colorado. When I sue, every time I take it seriously, and I ask 2 questions. Is the law being broken? And are Coloradans being harmed? If it's a Chesapeake Bay issue that doesn't affect Colorado, I wouldn't sue. But if it's SNAP benefits, if it's Forest Service firefighters being fired, if it's energy funds, I'm going to sue. And if you want to make charges against me, you should have facts to back them up. We, the people, deserve a substantive debate, not character.
I just want to be.
So, again, can't name a suit besides the one he did not join on in Trump's first term, but says it's political. He's also, I don't have video on that, but Bennett is now using attacks that were used against Phil Weiser in his 2022 campaign for AG that Michael Bennett helped to debunk and was on the campaign trail with Phil Weiser to get him elected in 2022. So it's very interesting that he's now trying to use this debunked theory of dark money against Phil Weiser. And then this is them going against Bennett. Bennett, again, voted to approve 7 of Donald Trump's cabinet picks. People like Doug Burgum, Secretary of the Interior, which directly affects, yes, he's pulling a Tulsi Gabbard. Absolutely pulling a Tulsi Gabbard. I was so pissed. I was yelling at my TV at Michael Bennett last night. And I'm not to say that there's not things with Phil Weiser I disagree on. There definitely are. He voted for 7 of the cabinet picks of Donald Trump's administration. Now, granted, would they have gone through anyway? Maybe, but maybe force it to be a tiebreaker. Don't actually join in. Doug Burgum, Secretary of the Interior, who directly affects Colorado because we have a lot of federal national parks here. If you don't know, Doug Burgum is in charge of that, being Secretary of the Interior. By the way, the National Parks Pass that Donald Trump put his fucking face on, you pay for that. You pay for that pass. Did you guys know that the money for that pass is meant to help upkeep the national parks like the ones we have in Colorado? Did you guys know that they are actually taking the money from the National Parks Pass payments and using it for his Freedom 250 and his July 4th 250 year celebration? That's what they're doing with that money right now. Not upkeeping the national parks. And like my husband told me last night that I didn't know about, a lot of these national parks have treaties with the federal government about with the indigenous tribes. They have treaties with the tribes to ensure, because these were indigenous lands originally, and they said, hey, us as the federal government, the interior, we are going to take care of it. We promise we're going to take care of it. They have treaties with the tribes to keep it the upkeep of these parks. And that they're not doing it. That trash is building up. And they are not keeping their word. Hi, babe.
Yeah, I believe that one was New Mexico specifically. They have like a intergovernmental compact with the tribe because it is sacred lands. And yeah, it's just full of trash. They're not cleaning the bathrooms. The toilets are overflowing. But
Michael Bennett voted for people like Doug Burgum and Brooke Rollins, who is the one who is removing people from the SNAP benefits and claiming that it's because they uplifted them instead of actually people just aren't getting SNAP benefits to be able to feed their kids now. And he was asked about that. Do you regret those votes? Instead, he defends them.
None of their record is a surprise to me. But the reality is that Colorado and the American West are going through an existential fire crisis. And we need the resources that the Forest Service is bringing to bear in Colorado.
Except that we're not getting that money because we are seen as a blue state that goes against Trump. So they are withholding those funds from us. And you voted for it.
Need the resources that the Interior Department is bringing to bear in Colorado.
What money? The Interior Department is not giving us money. They're withholding that money. What is he talking about? Again, the question he was asked was whether he regrets those votes.
Garden of the Gods is a state park, though, Chicky. That's why it's still beautiful.
Yeah, because that one's state funded. You have like national parks. You're gonna have like Estes. The Arsenal, I think, is national. Rocky Mountain National Park.
This vote in America is to vote against one of Donald Trump's nominees. But when it's the right thing to do for Colorado, when it's the right thing to have the resources that we need and the attention that we need, I've done that.
Except he didn't, because you voted for somebody who is now withholding those funds for Colorado.
Real difference. I believe when someone is breaking the law and harming you, as Brooke Rollins has done a number of times, you don't say, I still support you. You say, shame on you, I'm sorry I voted for you, because you're hurting us. Taking away SNAP benefits from 600,000 Coloradans mean you're threatening people's next meal, which
Dan, we laughed when Trump talked about forest management because he talked about raking the forest. Which, by the way, is something you can do, but what we talk about are things like prescribed burns in this state.
Just to Ari right there. Red Rocks is actually Denver Parks. That's not state.
But Donald Trump doesn't know anything about forest management.
He did twice. I sued both times. We won both times. As for fighting fires, she tried to fire firefighters from the Forest Service last year, right before fire season. I sued her about that. We won too.
May I respond?
I will always stand strong against a lawless, bullying administration. Never try to curry favor or accommodate them.
I didn't vote for these people because I agree with their policies. I voted for them because the work that we're doing is critically important, and it's not political. I mean, it is.
It is political because they're not helping us do that work, Michael. He pissed me the fuck off last night. You voted for them, and you can't even have the accountability to say, I regret voting for them because they did not do the things that they are meant to do in their job capacity for the state of Colorado.
Critically important. The fire risk in Colorado is existential. The lack of water in Colorado is existential. Sometimes you have to work with people that you profoundly disagree with. And what I resent is that somehow the Attorney General thinks that's a test of how tough I am. As I said earlier, the easiest vote in America is for a Democrat to vote against these people. But I did it because it was the right thing to do for Colorado.
Except apparently it wasn't. I'm so fucking mad at him. I'm so fucking mad at him. And there's plenty of other videos about why I'm mad at him. Pissed me the fuck off. Hello.
I just want to be clear. I was thinking of Red Canyon Park.
Oh, Red Canyon Park.
Yeah, it was like, I think we're thinking of two different things. So that's why I was like, it's cool you can call me out, but we weren't thinking of the same place. So, yeah. Red Canyon.
Don't listen to men. We don't listen to men here.
Ha, ha. El Josiah, too. Just kidding. Love you. It's Josiah. Josiah is amazing. Anyway, that's all I wanted to point out. Like, sorry, I was thinking of it at the wrong place. Listen, I haven't been in Colorado in 13 years. Leave me alone. I'm good.
Gregory, over in the YouTube chat, I see that you've been talking to G. And I see what you've been saying. But my issue I have with one of your statements you said is that you said, except we don't need to endorse the president any more than having elected him and given him all the levers of power at the expense of the Democrats and progressives. No, you realize he works for you. So yes, you gave him that power, but you also need to hold him accountable. You need to hold him accountable on his campaign promises. He said he was going to lower He said he was going to lower gas and grocery prices. He said he was going to end the Ukraine-Russian war within 24 hours of being elected. He said there was going to be no new wars. He said he was going to do things that were going to be beneficial for the American people, and yet we are not seeing that. And so the fact that I, as a registered independent leftist, have to continue to hold him accountable the same way that I do any politician, while you're not doing it and you voted for him, is silly. You don't get to wipe your hands away. Gasseries. You do not get to wipe. I hate all of you. Chili makes me gassery. You do not get to wipe your hands after you vote and walk away. The midterms are happening. Congress is not doing their job checking and balancing the president of the United States. You have to do your job as an accountable voter, as an American, to hold him accountable. That's what you have to do. These did say groceries is an interesting word. Affordability is a con job. People are struggling. Jose, you said you never saw the fire on You Guys Decide about Biden doing half the stuff he did when Elon Musk about Twitter. They started investigating Elon Musk and nothing happened to Elon. What are you talking about specifically? Elon Musk about Twitter. They started investigating Elon Musk and nothing happened to Elon. So who was investigating Elon? Jose? Guys, while we're sitting here, while I talk to the chat for a second to try to get these answers out of Jose, we have 3-0 left in my goal. Can we get that done? I know we can get that done. With the amount of people that are here right now, we can do that with a $1 train or a $2 train. We can get that goal accomplished. Just Monida at Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. Let's get my goal accomplished on this Friday. Let's start the weekend off right.
Gregory, you don't know anything about the Minnesota fraud. I guarantee that. I guarantee you don't know. By electing the senator of Vermont, what a great character. Bernie Sanders? What I'm asking you about what you said about Joe Biden. Biden doing half the stuff he did when Elon Musk about Twitter. I don't understand this sentence. Half the stuff he did when Elon Musk about Twitter, they started investigating Elon Musk and nothing happened to Elon. Yeah, why? Was he being, when Elon Musk bought Twitter, the DOJ went after all his companies. What? No, because so let's talk about USAID. So the SEC, the U.S. Department of Justice, previously investigated Musk's chaotic 2022 acquisition of Twitter. Because I don't know if you remember, Jose, Elon tried to get out of it. Do you remember that? That Elon had made the pledge that he was going to buy, by the way, with stock money, not with actual liquidity, but Elon was going to buy Twitter, and then he tried to get out of that deal, and Twitter sued him to uphold that deal. But investigated Musk's chaotic 2022 acquisition of Twitter, now X, for possible violations of Federal Trade Commission data security and privacy consent order. However, the primary legal actions following the buyout were led by the SEC, so not the DOJ, the SEC. In 2023, the DOJ filed a court document on behalf of the FTC raising serious concerns that Musk's layoffs and rapid changes to the platform created a chaotic environment that violated Twitter's 2022 data privacy consent decree. The SEC stock disclosure lawsuit. In a separate but related federal case, the SEC sued Musk over an 11-day delay in disclosing his initial stake in Twitter in 2022, which allowed him to buy shares at artificially reduced prices. That dispute resulted in a $1.5 million settlement that he paid. Shareholder lawsuits. Investors successfully sued Musk with a jury finding in March that he misled them by taking steps that manipulated Twitter's stock price during the tumultuous acquisition period. So it sounds like he did exactly what they said he did. So why would I call Biden out, or the administration, because that's not Biden, right? That's not Biden. That's the administration underneath Biden. Why would I call out the SEC or the FTC or the DOJ for getting Elon for doing exactly what he was accused of doing? He settled in that case, and he was convicted in another case. So why would I do that? But I have plenty of admonishment and critique for Joe Biden. Joe Biden said he was going to be a transitory president, transition president. He was not going to run again. He was just going to sit in the seat until we could get a progressive candidate into it in 2024. And he lied about that. And he went and he ran again. His ego was too big, and he ran again, and he should not have done that. I absolutely admonish that fact. He was an old man. He had a stutter. I could understand him. I'm sorry if you couldn't, but he had a stutter. But an old men need to stop being elected into office. I'm totally with you there. Let's stop electing old fucking men, as Donald Trump is turning 80 years old, and he was the oldest man elected into office after Joe Biden. That's an interesting thought. Joe Biden lied to the American people about the economy. Now, okay, let me take that back. He didn't lie about the economy. He lied about how people were feeling about the economy. I'll correct that. The economy, the stock market, he was doing the same thing Donald Trump is doing now. The stock market was doing good. The metrics looked good. But the people, us, were not feeling that in our pocket. And Joe Biden was like, it's doing fine. And everybody's like, what the fuck, old man? It's not fine. I can't pay my bills. He should not have fucking done that. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. Donald Trump's doing the same thing.
What about Biden?
David, why do I need to shut the fuck up? I'm talking shit on Biden. Why would I need to do that? Why would I need to do that? Gregory, actually, probably the only thing I agree with is you saying progressives, please stop. Please get a candidate with idea that motivates people. What candidate is dancing around in a frog suit, though? What candidate's doing that? He gets to stay in for 5 years. Are you bad at math? It sounds like you're bad at math. Jesus Christ, they're unwell. Guys, can we find somebody for me to raid, please? I would appreciate it. W's to Oh Me Oh My. Surgeon, I see you. W's to you. Thank you so much for the 30, knocking out the rest of the goal. W's, guys. I appreciate it so much. Like, there's no reason to not be honest. There's just no reason for it. I do not understand it. We can be honest about Joe Biden. I was doing this job when Joe Biden was president. It wasn't this fancy. I'm a lot fancier now.
But I was doing it on my phone. I was going live 2 hours a day. And doing this. When Joe Biden was president. Right, exactly. The atrocities that Donald Trump is doing, what he is doing to our government, it's... Do I know these people? I don't know that they know me. I don't know that they know me, so I don't know them. I think that's part of the problem. I don't like to raid people who don't know me. I don't know. It's a good question. Because it's just like men. And it's not like Matt needs my help. He does not need my help with a raid, but we can raid Matt. Santana definitely don't need my help. I love Santana, though. I do love Santana. But Santana definitely don't need my help. I've got to understand that Elon Musk didn't care about the money, and in a couple of weeks, he's going to be the first trillionaire. Okay, but that wasn't your point. We were talking about what Biden did. That was bad. You said he went after Elon Musk. Elon Musk obviously got after, and that's just it. Okay, so let me set this up. We'll do Matt. We'll do Matt. I have him on here. Where are you? Yep, there he is. Okay. So, YouTube and Twitch, I'm going to send you over to Matt. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for a wonderful week. And I will see you guys next week, Monday, for Midterm Mondays at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, whatever time that is for you. Thank you guys so much for your support, the jewels, the super chats. I appreciate you guys so much and the support that you guys give me. So I will definitely see you guys next week. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. If you're following me on Twitch, or if you're not, go follow me on Twitch because we do game, and that is where I stream my gaming when we do that. So YouTube and Twitch, I will see you guys next